Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by with the Season 4 Reloaded update. We obviously got a new meta update and weapon balancing update, changing up a handful of things, buffing a ton of attachments, so setups are going to be even more effective. And with that, today I wanted to go through and break down the new top 10 best loadouts you want to be running for this half season. First up, I do want to start with our general perks and equipment here, talking about this. They did update a few things here that I've sort of adjusted. We'll do a full in-depth video on a lot of the perks here, probably coming up soon, but I'm still rocking smokes for my tacticals, pretty basic there. Instant concealment is just so clutch, whether you're trying to rotate, res, whatever the case is, plate up. It's so ideal to have those on there. I also still love the impacts just for general gameplay. If I'm playing Rebirth, I might be going for the throwing knives for the insta finishes. Really, between Semtexes, impacts, drill charges, thermites, throwing knives, there's so many good lethals right now. It really just comes down to preference and what you enjoy using for your playstyle, but I'm rocking impacts personally. Perk 1, I am still rocking Survivor just for that better health regen. That's so crucial in so many situations. Perk 2, I have switched over a little bit from Tracker to Bomb Squad. With this, you're not going to ping as many enemies. The footsteps were adjusted some, so Bomb Squad with the explosive damage reduction is pretty huge, especially with how many mines and betties and everything. It's so important. I feel like every time I bust through a door, there's mines and betties just waiting for me every single time. This is a nice sort of added safety net there for sure. Then lastly, Gung Ho, so I can reload while I'm tac sprinting, is pretty crucial as well. So that's my perk and equipment setup. That stays the same on pretty much every single setup here today. Now we can just focus on weapons. We got a lot of very strong pairs. Wanted to get this one just out of the way. We've been running this, but the adjustments for Season 4 Reloaded didn't really do anything to this. The Krig got slightly nerfed, so it's not going to be the absolute #1 choice every single time, but it's still a fantastic rifle. And the LC10 didn't see adjustments, so it's still one of the best close range options in the game, if not the best close range option in the game. You'll notice attachments are a little bit more effective because of some of the buffs they did do there. For the optic on the Krig though, it's still a matter of preference. I'm rocking Oturo Red Dot. I really do enjoy that quite a bit. I got monolithic on there, extending out our range and our velocity, of course, keeping me off the radar as well. Reinforced, doing more of the same there. So we end up with a 1224 velocity, which is insanely good. 52 meter effective damage range is also really solid there as well. I do like vertical foregrip, making this thing just laser beam accurate. It's very easy to use and it's still going to fry over basically all ranges. Then extended 2 here, 70 rounder, really nice added safety net there. So not really much changing with the Krig. And then as far as the LC10 goes, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I got the long barrel on here, extending out our damage range to just over 16 meters, which is really solid. Ranger foregrip feels great here. If you're doing a lot of hip fire to ADS shooting in the close range, that's sort of just your play style, G grip is a great alternative there as well for what it's worth. Extended 255 will work with this rate of fire for all squad sizes. Quick draw rear grip for that faster ADS. Then I really do like the infiltrator stock on here too for that better strafe speed. Like I said, we saw some adjustments to this main meta loadout with Season 4 Reloaded, mainly to the Krig, but it's not something that's going to knock it out of the competition. This is still a loadout you can absolutely fry with. Next up here, another really fun combination. We've got the GRAU 556 and the C9. This is an easy loadout to do well with. It's low risk, but it's high reward. Both of these guns are going to fry and they don't take much to use either. So with the SWAT here, obviously we're going for that GRAU conversion, turning it into the GRAU 556 as that main component of this setup here. On top of that, I am rocking the infiltrator stock on this. I love rocking this where I can, just because that added ADS movement speed, that strafe speed, is so solid. It makes you a lot more aggressive and agile in gunfights and can kind of throw enemies off. The only extended mag option we have here is this 50 rounder, so of course we're using that. Vertical foregrip again to make this thing as laser accurate as possible and super predictable. And lastly, monolithic suppressor as well. 1277 velocity, 47.5 meter effective damage range is going to be really good there. You factor in accuracy into this thing's overall TTK, and it's going to be one of the best realistic TTKs and fastest realistic TTKs you're going to get in the game because it's so straightforward. And the C9 is your perfect, reliable close range option. Aggressive, easy to use. It's going to kill quick as well. Long barrel gives our damage range that 17.2 meter effective range, which is fantastic. G grip in this case, I do a lot of hip firing with the C9 as opposed to the LC10 just because of its overall feel here. So I do like that, but Ranger is always a great alternative, as is vertical if you want to go all in on recoil as well for what it's worth. No wrong answers there. Extended 2 here, 50 rounder will work for all squad sizes. Quick draw rear grip for that faster ADS. And then I do like recoil springs here as well. Just going to make this gun laser accurate. Going to be so easy to use, especially as you venture into maybe some mid-range with this thing out. If you find yourself in those situations, that's going to be a great safety net to have and make the gun even more straightforward. Loadout 3 here, my go-to sniper setup. The HDR still the king for one-shot sniping, and the FFAR is a phenomenal sniper support setup here, which you can adjust in a few different ways. For the HDR setup, setup. Once again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So monolithic suppressor, we only care about the velocity here. Damage range does not matter on a one-shot sniper, but that's going to boost that. Gain twist barrel will boost our velocity, and then overpressured ammo will do more of the same. 1255 velocity means your bullet drop, your bullet lead is going to be super easy and straightforward. It's not going to be hard to predict those one-shot headshots. In addition to that, I also got the quick draw rear grip helping out with our ADS speed. We got a 585 here. That's not bad by any means for a heavy sniper. And then lightweight bipod helping out with that idle sway means you don't have to hold your breath as often to be super accurate on moving targets or stationary targets even as well. Just really helps make the gun a little bit easier to use, so I do love the feel of that. This has been the go-to sniper setup for a bit. It's still working just fine. And then for the FFAR setup here, when you're focused on sniper support, you don't really need to do much to its damage range. It's already so consistent for sniper support, the realistic range you want to be fighting at with that just you really got to focus on control and mobility, making it aggressive and easy. So I don't really like the irons even for like the close to mid range. I find Otero to be a lot more reliable personally here. Compensator going to keep me on target by helping out with the control. Ranger foregrip doing more for the control as well, plus helps out with some sprinting movement speed. Nice little bonus there on a weapon you're trying to make more aggressive. Extended 2 on here, 60 rounder will work fine for all squad sizes. And then instead of a barrel here, like I said, because that base damage range is fine, 41 nearly 42 meters is great, I go for the balanced pad stock, helping out with our movement speed, making it more aggressive. Strafe speed as well, just in general really helps make this thing feel a lot more agile and lightweight, which you want for a gun you're going to be using in the close range so consistently. So really good sniper support setup here, probably the best in the game. Now, as always, when we do see new weapons drop, I always make sure to feature them in the top 10, even if they're not going to be a true absolute meta choice. I want to give you guys the info regardless, and that's why we got the Olympia here as a special weapon secondary. This would fill the place of a pistol or one of the other special weapons like the nail gun, for instance. So with overkill on here, you have access to this, and it's an interesting secondary. It's something that has potential if you're barrel stuffing. Beyond that, it's probably not going to be that realistic. I'd really prefer a Grekhova or a true SMG secondary here, but on a weapon like the Cypher that I rock 8 attachments on because this thing is just an absolute beam, so easy and so straightforward, it's a nice complement for the close range, right, when I need it. So 8 attachments set up on the Cypher. Volsky Reflex, just another one I like to cycle in my rotation for optics. Again, just a matter of preference really though. Monolithic suppressor for range and velocity. Reinforced barrel for more of the same. 1238 velo, phenomenal. 52 meter effective damage range. Phenomenal. You can't go wrong with that. Vertical foregrip to make this thing really, really easy and predictable. Extended 2 is going to be a 60 rounder, working fine there. Quick draw rear grip, might as well get a faster ADS where you can. Never a bad option on there. Balanced stock here as well, although Infiltrator, also a fantastic choice if you want to switch out for that. And then recoil springs makes an already easy to use weapon about as easy as it can possibly get. So that is fantastic there for just a do-it-all rifle primary. And then, like I said, for the secondary with overkill on here, you got the Olympia. It can be strong if you're barrel stuffing. It's the most basic, straightforward setup maybe in the entire game. There's only 2 attachments on it entirely. It's the short barrel, which actually does better pellet damage for being a short barrel, which is kind of strange. You don't need to rock this for what it's worth. It does hurt your damage range. So if you want the best range possible, you could actually take that off and just use the cutoff stock, which helps out with ADS. You definitely want that on there. But if you want that better max pellet damage, you can throw a short barrel on there. So either 1 attachment or 2 attachments on this one. A crazy setup, but nonetheless, like I said, I always want to feature the new guns for you guys. And by the way, as we are breaking down all the weapons, all the setups here today, if you guys enjoy the video, you find the info helpful, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. Much love to everyone who takes the time to do so. And if you're new to the channel, you want to make sure that each and every single day you're in the know for all things going on in COD, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. Help get us one step closer to hitting 1 million subs. Next up here, we've got a fun but kind of chaotic loadout. It pairs 2 weapons. And by the way, you can mix and match so many of these setups today. You don't have to take it. You have to use this rifle I talked about, and you have to use this SMG. Mix and match as you please, right? But the FFAR and the Kompakt, this is my bullet spitting setup, right? Both of these insane fire rates, insane TTKs. The FFAR works as sniper support. It also works as just a basic primary as well, which is what I have it built out for here. Just changing up the setup ever so slightly. I'd still keep Otero red dot on there just because that's my go-to optic. Even for mid to long range, I prefer the Compensator to monolithic just because accuracy matters more in a case like this. If you get better damage range and better velocity, that's fine. But if you're missing more shots, the better range of velocity doesn't matter. So I am much more comfortable with Compensator. If you want to test out mono, go for it. It's not going to be a wrong answer. It's just a matter of preference, right? For a mid to long range build, I do like reinforced barrel, throwing that on there. We get just over 1,000 velocity, which is going to be solid. 54 meter effective damage range is great as well. Ranger foregrip doable for the mid to long range. If you want to upgrade to vertical, that'd be viable as well for what it's worth. And then extended mag 2 yet again for that 60 rounder is going to be great. So that's a solid mid to long range base build, a little bit different from our sniper support build, but that's just how versatile the FFAR is. And then the Kompakt, like I said, it spits bullets. You just need to be accurate with this thing so you can get that fastest TTK, right? So for that, I go for the compensator, helping out with control, of course. G-grip helping out even more with recoil control as well. And then recoil springs stacks on top of there again. So this is like the max recoil control setup you could get in this case. Gonna make this gun as easy as possible to use. And then in addition to that, quick draw rear grip, we want that snappy aggressive ADS for the close range. Then extended 3 is only a 60 with a 1091 RPM. You're even kind of cutting it a little too close on the damage per mag there, but that's what you got to work with. That is the best possible option, the largest mag. So of course we have to run that on there. You'll learn to be accurate with this thing. It's just gonna melt everyone. Next up, we got another sniper setup, the newly buffed Victus, which is an infinite one-shot, a great competitor to the HDR. For sniper support here, I've got the MCW conversion, a fantastic sniper support choice with a really fast TTK in that first damage range. For the Victus here, because it can infinitely one-shot, you just have to focus on the velocity yet again. Won't be as good as the HDR, but it's got a different feel, so you may prefer this to the HDR depending on what you like out of your sniper. For the scope, I go for the SPX 6.6 times. I feel very comfortable with this on there. I'm really accurate with this as opposed to the base one. Spirit Fire Suppressor helps out with velocity. Super Barrel helps out with velocity. And then you could either go high velocity ammo or high grain ammo. Each of these will help out with velo. On high velocity, you got a 994, which is pretty solid. With high grain, you only got a 914. So like I said, if you're just focusing simply on that bullet drop and bullet lead, going for the best velo stat possible with high velocity, I think is going to be the way to go. Lastly, I do use the Rise 50 stock on here just for the slightly faster ADS speed. It's got a 569, nice, a little bit faster than the HDR. The only difference here is going to be that velocity stat, but it's nice to actually have some direct competition for once. Then for this MCW conversion, like I said, it's great as like an SMG AR hybrid style sniper support. The Jack Raven kit's the most important part here, turning this into basically an SMG and giving you that fast TTK in the first damage range. I also stack on there the Jack Cutthroat for the better mobility, just making this more aggressive outright. 40 round extended mags, the max here, a little bit unfortunate, but that's what you got to work with. It'll work because the TTK is so fast, though. You'll have time to reload because your enemies will be knocked or spectating, right? Spirit Fire Suppressor just to help out with some range and some velocity there. 547 velo is all right, nearly a 22 meter effective damage range. And then whatever optic you're comfortable with. I really like the Nidar, so I rock that, but if there's a different one you prefer more, go for that instead. But yeah, this thing does melt up close. Loadout number 7, another sniper option, this time just not an infinite one-shot one. We've got the LR762, which has a very generous one-shot range, of course, and I love the KSV as a sniper support SMG. Obviously, some people prefer their SMG for sniper support as opposed to a rifle because it's going to be faster, a little bit more aggressive. This is totally practical for that, right? So with the LR762, you got to focus on range and velocity in this case. So monolithic suppressor is obviously going to be crucial for that. Very clutch. Long barrel, extending out our damage range to 94 meters. So that's your one-shot headshot range. That's pretty good, all things considered. I do also stack overpressured ammo on here. That's going to help out with that velocity. So a 1269 for that. Bullet drop and bullet lead is going to be really consistent there. Not going to have to work too much to figure that out. Quick draw rear grip. We, of course, want the fastest ADS. We can get 566 is pretty solid. And then fast mag 2 is going to help out that ADS as well. Only drops your ammo down by 1. 4 rounds is still fine. That's enough for a couple of knocks back to back or a quick reload and a cleanup. You're not going to be too worried about the ammo supply there unless you're just missing shots, in which case that'd be a little bit rough. Maybe sniping's not for you, right? But this one will work fine for a sniper setup. KSV here, really reliable close to mid-range option. Great damage in that mid-range as well, specifically for sniper support. Compensator keeps us accurate, especially with that iron sight based build on here. Long barrel, better damage range, nearly out to 20 meters, which is phenomenal for an SMG, of course. Ranger foregrip keeping us aggressive, also helping out with that recoil as well. We got extended mag 2, 50 rounder will work for this rate of fire. 800 is not too fast, not too slow, but right there in the middle. And then I do like balanced stock here as well for the better strafe general movement as well, just making things a little bit more snappy and aggressive. Really pairs well with any sniper, and it also could be used as just a general close range secondary for what it's worth. Next up, we've got an overkill loadout with the DM10. This thing in the right hands is just utterly insane. It can melt everyone. Absurdly fast TTK. You just have to be really good with a semi-auto gun for this thing to actually be efficient. In this case, for the secondary, because it is an overkill class, I am rocking the Grekhova. This thing's like a pocket SMG, basically. I like the rapid fire attachment on here, obviously just speeding up that TTK a little bit potentially. Weighted stock gives you like this hybrid ADS hip fire. It's kind of strange, but it works. It's also going to help out with some control as well, which is solid. Extended 2, spray and pray with a 60 round mag. Why not let it fly, right? Long barrel gives you a slightly better damage range. Not a huge deal, but it'll work. And then compensator again, just to make it a tad bit easier. Ideally, I'm finding an SMG or I'm buying a second loadout, getting a true secondary there to complement the DM10, but this will work at least for your first initial loadout pickup there. On the DM10 with 8 attachments, I mean, this thing just does everything, right? So a Turo red dot or whatever optic you're comfortable with, mono suppressor, better range and velocity, reinforced barrel, better range and velocity, 1380 velo, insane. 64-meter damage range, insane. This thing just melts everyone. Precision handguard, helping out with some idle sway, some horizontal control. Getting some sway on a semi-auto gun's always a good thing, but then control is pretty clutch as well. Extended 2 is going to be a 30 rounder. That'll work because it is semi-auto. You're not going to burn through that, so it's kind of a play at your own pace. You'll know when you'll have to reload. Quick draw rear grip for that faster ADS is always good. Buffer weight stock, unique to just a couple of guns, including the DM10, makes this thing even easier as you're spamming. And then rapid fire, which is now going to be less punishing with that recoil, solid as well. You're gonna get a faster TTK potential there if you can reach that fire rate cap consistently. This thing in the right hands, like I said, is just so insane. Another pretty fun and just super easy to use loadout here. The GPR is a primary, not gonna have the fastest TTK or anything. It's just gonna be really consistent, low recoil, realistic TTK will be pretty competitive because of that. Then the Ladra is a secondary, aggressive, good range, fast TTK as well. You can't go wrong with these as a combination here. Pretty basic setup on the GPR. I like the Willis 3 times. If you want to switch up to a different one, go for it. No harm, no foul there. Monolithic yet again, reinforced yet again. 1209 velocity, 43.5 meter effective damage range is sitting pretty there. Vertical foregrip, and then also extended mag 2 on here. 60 rounder working fine for all squad sizes. Like I said, very straightforward setup. Ladra is going to be more of the same kind of as well. Long barrel gives us an effective damage range of 15.5 meters. So that's pretty solid for a sub. The drop off beyond that's not super harsh either. Ranger foregrip, mobility, and control. Extended 2 on here is going to be a 66, odd number. That's actually an even number. I think I've made that joke before, so sorry. But with that, it's not your standard 50, 60, 70, 66, but it's a nice added safety net. Never a bad thing to have some extra ammo in there. Quick draw rear grip, faster ADS, and then infiltrator stock again for that better strafe speed. Just 2 really consistent, really easy and straightforward guns. Always a good loadout combination. And then lastly here, one last gunfighter setup. Again, same Grekhova setup we just covered, but this time it's the TR2 instead of the DM10. Marksman's in this game. If you put 8 attachments on them, just feel insane. This thing with the infinite damage range that it has basically doesn't drop off at any significant point. Again, just absurd TTK potential. Higher skill gap, especially even compared to the DM10, but so rewarding if you know what you're doing with it here. So initially, Otero red dot yet again, simply a matter of preference. Monolithic suppressor for the better velocity. Reinforced would work, but with that better damage range, gain twist is going to be more optimal in the end, just because velocity is what's going to matter the most here. And yes, that does say 1652 on that velocity stat. This thing's gonna feel like hit scan basically. Vertical foregrip, just making this thing easier when you are spamming to stay on target. Extended 2, 40 rounder in this case, working fine. That full auto extended mag is gonna be coming up in a future event. We'll have to see how exactly that plays into it. Could be kind of interesting. Quick draw rear grip, faster ADS, right? Infiltrator stock for the better strafe. And then yet again, rapid fire gives you that slightly faster TTK potential there if you're able to hit shots consistently. Much like the DM10, if you know what you're doing, this thing's gonna be incredibly, incredibly rewarding. Honestly, all of these guns are like that. If you are able to learn these recoil patterns, learn the weapon behavior, most of them are pretty easy to use. Few higher skill gap ones, but they're by far some of the best choices in the game right now. That's going to wrap things up. If you guys enjoyed the video, you found it helpful, be sure to drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.